drunken sailors, shipwrecks, girl power and absolute anarchy. Here is the story of the White Ship. The story of the White Ship is an important part of medieval English history. It's a period of time when a first female ruler came to the throne, or should have come to the throne, and was completely wiped out by her cousin, Stephen of Blois. What caused Matilda to be thrown off the throne in the next 18 plus years of warfare caused absolute havoc in Britain and in Normandy is actually the story, a very sad story, of the White Ship, La Plantagenets. And basically what happened was 25th of November 1120, William, the only legitimate son of Henry I, who was the son of William the Conqueror, decided to set sail on a different ship to his father. He had been there to pay homage to the King of France, to take the knee to the King of France on behalf of his father, because his father was like, do you know what? I know I'm supposed to kneel to the King of France, but I'm absolutely not doing so. Instead, he sent his son, William. William goes, he does the business, he comes back in high spirits, and a guy called Thomas FitzStephens says, do you know what? My father sailed your grandfather over to England in 1066, and I would really love to do the same thing. And you can come on my spanking new ship. It had been completely refitted. It was called the Plantagenets, the White Ship. And it was the fastest, most brilliant, agile, beautiful boat available. And he said, yeah, absolutely, why not? So they boarded the ship and started drinking. Now, William was only 17, but they were in high spirits. He was with his half-brother, half-sister. He was with other relations. It was just basically 300 very important people and crew packed on the ship, everybody having a good drink, a party fever. It was like one of those party boats that you see so often on holiday. Rowdy, got so rowdy actually that one guy, who we will talk about later, decided to get off. Now, it is rumoured by the chronicler Onderic Vitalis that he had a bout of diarrhea. Poor old Stephen of Blois, he got off the boat. Doing that saved his life. That night played out really, really well for that guy, but he seems to have been literally the only winner from the entire situation. So it's a cold November night. They leave late in the night. The crew had also asked, allegedly William, so they went to this, guy and said, can we have some booze too? And they were plied with alcohol. It's obviously written that this is the reason why the crash happens. But they hit Quillebeuf rock as they're coming out of port, racing to take over the king's ship, because they've decided that it would be a really cool idea to beat Henry over the channel. You're young, you're impetuous, you think you're going to live forever. I think we've all been in that situation. We've all gone too fast. We've all gone far too close to the sun. A lot of us have probably had our wings burn. Most of us survive to tell the tale. This is not going to happen in this case. And it's truly sad what happens. They hit the rock. The ship goes down. It's dark. It's freezing cold in the water. William is saved by his bodyguards. The future King of England, to be William II, the only legitimate heir, apart from a daughter called Matilda, but she's a woman, the only legitimate to the heir, is pulled by his bodyguard knights, and he's pulled into a small boat. Woohoo! He's saved! Yay! And then he hears oh, help, help, and a kind of, you have to imagine Kate Winslet style, on a door, Titanic. Oh, help, help, help. It's his half-sister, Matilda, who is known as Maud. And he loves her. And so he gets his boat rowed over to help her. And in the time of, and allegedly, he actually grabs her. So this boy, who's going to be king, grabs his sister, pulls her into the boat. And in doing so, at the same time, loads of other drowning men get on the boat sinks. Everyone is lost, except for a butcher from Rouen. It is said that Thomas FitzStephens does actually surface after the crash. He doesn't die in the immediate crash, but when he finds out William is dead, he just sinks to the bottom because he does not want to deal with the wreck of killing the future king, Henry I's only legitimate heir, and who can blame him? It is said that Henry was so distraught at the loss of his son that he literally never smiled again. Henry marries again. He tries to have a new heir, but you know, time's ticking on. And even if he'd have popped a new heir out straight away, that kid would have been only 14 by the time Henry I dies. So Henry knows that he has a succession problem. And the thing about monarchy is it is most secure when you have fixed succession. Hence why they say, like when the Queen died, they said, the Queen is dead, long live the King. Yeah, the Queen is dead, long live the King. You proclaim the next person immediately. And that is to push succession. So Henry has no succession. He has a daughter, Matilda. Matilda is actually the Holy Roman Empress from her marriage to Henry V. And Henry V has died. She marries a guy called Geoffrey of Anjou, a Plantagenet, the guy who actually starts the Plantagenets, who then come to the British throne. Oh, spoiler! And the barons of Normandy are still very big in England, and they don't like this guy. And therefore, they don't like Matilda. She could have picked a better match. However, she didn't. She picked Jeff. And therefore, when it comes to Henry's ideas to push his daughter as a decent successor, the barons are not happy. They believe that Geoffrey just wants to take Normandy and keep it for himself and stick it with Anjou, and they will lose her. The other part of the problem is a thing called primogeniture, and that is the male right to inherit everything. And this is really picking up speed in France. And you know, they came over in 1066. Le Français came over. And so what's big in France ends up big in England. And so the idea of this female queen, it's not that she was too weak to rule. That was the whole Henry VIII later on idea. It had been such a disaster with Matilda. So again, she leads into some big things. What happened with the sinking of this boat had repercussions another 500 and something years later. So he gets the barons to swear down, I promise, we're gonna recognize Matilda when you die. He dies 15 years later, and Matilda's like, sure, I'll leave France, I'll go to England, I'll go claim my throne. Stephen of Blois has been watching this the whole time and has been thinking, hang on a minute, I am also directly related through my mother, who is sister of William the Conqueror. I think I have just as much right to this throne. Matilda is not fit to rule. There's Geoffrey of Anjou problem. I'm right in there. And he persuades enough barons to support him, and his brother Henry of Blois is the Bishop of Winchester and kind of helps get him in, and they get him down to London. The people of London feel that they are allowed to vote in their king. They proclaim Stephen, and he gets his crown from Theodore, and away we go. And what this leads to is actually 18 years of what they call the Anarchy, because Matilda is not going to take this line down. She is girl power. She is girl boss heavy. She's like, absolutely no way. That was my crown. I have every right to rule. And Geoffrey of Anjou is like, no, this is my wife's crown. He sees what's in it for him. And so they go to war, and back and forth and back and forth. Stephen just does not have to go to war with Matilda. He also has to go to war with Scotland, who feel they have a claim, and the Welsh, who are not behaving. and the Earls of Chester, who's the first Earl of Chester died in the White Ship disaster. In the end, Stephen wants his son Eustace to be seen and to be accepted by the Catholic Church as the next rightful heir, and they refuse. They're like, absolutely no way. Stephen tries kidnapping the Archbishop of Canterbury and his bishops, and they're still like, no, not going for this one. They don't declare anybody else as the rightful heir either, but they're definitely not going for Stephen's choice. And so Henry turns up, and Henry is Matilda's son. And it is he who finally gets Stephen to agree to see him as the next rightful successor over his other son, William, who is far too young to even be considered and does not cause any problems. And so it is agreed that Stephen will remain as the monarch, and next in line will come Henry. Within only 1 year of this agreement, Stephen is dead. Stomach complaints and he's dead. I don't know, poison, something else? Was he really sick? Was he really that old? He's dead. And Henry rolls on in. He doesn't waste any time at all. He knows that his claim, even though technically speaking, Henry said Matilda got the throne, he's the son of Matilda, he should now have the throne. It is technically his throne. He knows that he's over in France and he needs to get there fast. So Stephen dies in the October, and by the December, he is in there getting crowned. And we have the rebuild of England and a period of stability after the Anarchy. And isn't that crazy that just one split decision, one hey come and hang out on my ship, one dumb decision to feed massive amounts of alcohol to crew members, the fact they sailed in November instead of in the summer when the waters might have been warmer, just the fact that one decision snowballs into something that then ruins England for the next 18 years is kind of absolutely crazy. Had Matilda been a good people person, had she made a better choice than marrying a Frenchman, a very Frenchman, not just a Norman Frenchman, who knows what would have happened. But they went around about the houses, but in the end, the next rightful ruler really was the correct one. He was a Plantagenet. He was the first Angevin king, and he led into a truly, well, it's called the high period of the Middle Ages, and it really was a very special time. Yeah, if you've loved it, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, give me some support, yay! And I will continue to delve back into the past. And if there is a mystery of history that you would like me to look at, like you think you should go have a look at that because that will fascinate you, then please pop it in the comments box below.